Hello and welcome back to the workbench. We've got an easy one today. I've got a monitor shelf that I want to lower. I want to make new legs for it. And this is what the leg is going to look like right here. It's just a simple little leg and it's got a hole in it for the bottom for the screw to go through. And yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I have created a dimension drawing here for us. And these are the dimensions it's going to be, as well as a section of what this leg looks like. So let's get started drawing this in FreeCAD. This is another easy one to do, and it's another practical drawing that you can do to create maybe something that you'd want to 3D print. So let's jump into FreeCAD and get this thing drawn up. All right, here we are in FreeCAD. We're going to create a new parametric part. And now I have my part ready to go. I've moved my task panel from the left side to the right side because I find it easier. So I'm going to create a sketch. It's going to ask which plane do you want to draw this on? Well, I want to draw it on the XY plane. That is the bed of my printer. So I'll pick the XY plane and it will do its thing and move me to the XY plane. We are going to get started with drawing in this part of the shaft first. So we're going to draw in the body. And then we're going to draw in the top little piece right here. And then we'll draw in the bottom piece. And then we'll put this fillet on the edge to make it look nicer. So that's the plan. So let's start with this part of the body, or the shaft, I guess is what we'll call this. So we'll draw a circle from the center out. And its radius, or its diameter is 25 millimeters. So type in 25 and hit enter. I can hit escape to get out of that. Move that out of the way. Looks great. That is not a 0, by the way. That is the diameter symbol. That little 0 with a slash through it. Okay, we've got that part drawn, these two lines, or that circle. Now I need to get this inside piece, and that inside piece is going to go all the way through. And that is going to be 15 millimeters. So we'll draw in another circle. 15 millimeters. When you draw two circles inside of each other, FreeCAD is smart enough to know that that inside circle is a hole. So we're going to finish the sketch. There's our two circles. They're already selected because they are green. We can go ahead and rename this. We'll call this a shaft sketch. There we go. We'll pad it, which is right here. That is extrusion in most other softwares. We want it to go 53 millimeters right here. So we'll type in 53 and we'll hit enter. And now it's 53 millimeters high. Don't worry about that line that's right there. That line is to help us for dimensioning and things. I'll hold the wheel down and move down. I have mine set in CAD mode this time. So we'll see how I like CAD mode. CAD mode is just really defining how the mouse is going to move around. So I've got that ready. I want to draw another piece right here that's inside of that. It's going to use this diameter here, which is 15 millimeters. And then it's going to have an inside diameter here of another hole that's 8.15, which will give us room to put the screw through. Now, if you want to be really fancy and you have cap head throughs, you can make that inside circle just 8 millimeters, and then you could just thread it through. Then it will be locked into place. And in fact, I have cap head screws, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to pick that right there. That's the plane I want to draw on. And I'm going to hit create sketch. And there we go. And now we'll draw in another circle. But before we draw the circle, we're going to zoom in so we can see what we're doing. And we're going to click this guy right here. So what this command does is it creates an edge that's linked to external geometry. So I'll click on that, and I want that spot right there. So now I have that node right there. And I'll hit escape to get out of that command. I will hit the circle again, and we'll go from here to here. You can see my circle is green. If I didn't do that node, it wouldn't be green. Green is good in FreeCAD. That means your sketch is correct. It has all the parameters it needs in order to flex. The reason I want to link it to external geometry is because it's good practice to do so. I want to link it to the other part that it's connected to. So when the other part changes, this part or subpart will change with it. We'll create another circle. We'll go from there, which is the center, and we'll go out. I'm going to just say 8 millimeters because I'm going to use an M8 bolt or a cap head screw. So that's going to create that. Now we've got that ready to go. I'll hit escape. I'll grab this dimension out and we're good to go. I'm not worried about linking this to external geometry because I'm linking it to the origin. This other part is also linked to the origin. So they are linked together. I'll finish the sketch. There it is. It's already selected. We're going to rename that sketch, and we're going to call that sketch the M8 hole. Give it the name that pops in your head first. I'm going to rename this one while I'm at it, and we'll call this the shaft. Great. So now I've got the M8 hole. It's selected. I've got that name shaft. That's good. We're going to go ahead and pad that as well. I'm not going to use the pocket, which would do a subtraction. I'm going to do a pad because I already have my hole in there. So we'll do a pad. And the length that I want to give that is 18 millimeters. And I want to do reversed. That's going to make it go downwards instead of upwards. And I'll say, okay. So now I have that done. If I hold the shift key and the right mouse button, I can orbit my part around so I can see there's my hole and there's my shaft. And believe it or not, the Bambu Labs printed that well. I was quite surprised. If your printer doesn't print that well, you can put a chamfer in there or something else to step it, to get it so it does print. Or you can print it with supports if you want to do that. I ended up not needing to print that with supports because it did a good job. And I didn't really care that there was a bunch of strings inside of there. It worked. All right, the next part is going to be this part, the base of it. And that is just a circle. We're going to add that fillet after we pad it because it's easier that way. So that is going to be 40 millimeters in diameter, 7 millimeters tall. And it's going to be at the center and it's going to be at this thing. So we'll click that and we will create a sketch and we will draw in a circle and we'll use that origin as our base point and we'll say 40 millimeters for the diameter. And that's all do I need to do? Yes, I do need to do another circle in here because I need to be able to put that screw through there. So we'll do another circle. We'll go right there. Well, no, I got to do my external geometry. I'm going to grab that piece right there. And then we'll do a circle and we'll go from there to there. Great. Notice it didn't put a dimension on there. Didn't put a dimension because it's linked to that node from the external geometry. I'll go ahead and finish my sketch. And we'll rename this one to base sketch. Great. I forgot to rename this to, what is that? That's that top piece. So let's rename that while we're at it. That is going to be the top, or M8 hole at top. Okay. There's that. We'll do our base sketch again. There's that. See, I'm fixing these things as I find them. Instead of trying to remember to fix them later, I'm fixing them as I find them. So we will now pad that, and we're going to pad that how high we want that to be, 7 millimeters. So now that is 7 millimeters high. And if I shift right click, I still have my hole through there because I drew a hole in there. So that looks good. Let's go to this part right there. Click on that to give me that top view, and I want to put that fillet in there. And that's the last thing we're going to do. So we'll do the fillet. We will pick that edge. It's going to say, good, what do you want the radius to be? Let's give it a 3 millimeter radius. And there we go. We have that fillet in there, the 3 millimeter radius. It looks good. I've got my fillet. We can rename that if we want. We can call that base fillet. Fantastic. If I wanted to change that fillet, I would just double click on it. I can change that to 2 millimeter, and it would change the radius there to make it look different. I think that looks better. So there it is. That's our part. It's ready to export and print it out to make something. So when I print this, I usually use white PLA for my things that are in the office now because I like the way it looks. It is a matte PLA. It doesn't show the layer lines very much, and it does a good job. So we will export this, and we'll pick export. I forgot to choose what I wanted to export. I do that all the time. So I'll just pick OK. I want to export the whole body, everything, and I'll do export. And we'll export this as leg. You can see I've already done it once. Now what you can do is you can do leg.01. And that's telling you, hey, maybe you will want to call it V01 for version 01. Then you could create multiple STLs as you print them out. I do that from time to time, especially when I'm designing things for my RC cars. But you can call it whatever you would like. We've got that done. We'll go ahead and get that loaded up here in File Explorer. Get the desktop loaded. We'll get Bambu Labs started. There we go. You can see I already did one, but we'll go ahead and prepare. We'll do that leg.01. We'll drag it in there into place. And there it is. I'm not worried about how good this thing is going to look. It's going to look, it looks fine the way it is. Here's a picture of it. So I'm going to use draft. You can use extra draft if you want. Let's see what the difference is. We'll preview it. And, I don't need these tips anymore. Thank you very much, Bambu. All right, that's 37 minutes for draft. If we do extra draft, it is going to be 33 minutes. It'll save you 4 minutes going extra draft. And hit print. And away you go. You are printing out a new leg for a shelf to fit underneath your monitor. I hope you learned something with this practical print. We'll get back to the RC building stuff in the next video. We'll actually get that transmission mount drawn and finished and printed and mounted and all that other good stuff. But I wanted to show you these videos so that you can get an idea of how easy it is to draw something up in FreeCAD that you can print out on your printer.